check your phone before your feet hit the floor. Not for messages, not for the time, for the deposit. $0. That is where this starts. Not with a windfall, not with a lottery ticket, not with a rich uncle. It starts with a question almost nobody asks until it is too late to matter. How much money do you actually need sitting in an account so that the account pays your bills instead of you?
Most people never run this number. They run a different number. Their salary, their rent, their car payment. They live inside those numbers their entire lives and never once calculate the number that would let them walk away from all of it. Tonight, you are going to walk through that number, level by level, dollar by dollar, until you understand exactly what it costs to stop trading hours for money. You are 24. You have $1,000 in a savings account, earning almost nothing. A coworker mentions dividend stocks at lunch, like it's nothing. Like everyone already knows this. You go home and open a brokerage app for the first time. You buy your first share of a Dividend ETF. 1 share. It costs less than your dinner. Nothing happens. No bell rings. Your life looks exactly the same the next morning.
But something is different now, even if you can't see it yet. You are no longer just a person who earns money. You are, in a tiny, almost laughable way, an owner. The companies inside that fund are now working for you, even while you sleep, even while you're stuck in traffic, even while you're sitting through a meeting that should have been an email. You are 26, $5,000 invested. At a 4% yield, that's $200 a year. $200 doesn't sound like anything. It's 1 tank of gas, 1 phone bill. People will laugh at this number if you say it out loud. So you don't say it out loud.
Here's the thing nobody tells you about $200 a year. It's not about the $200. It's about the fact that this is the first money in your entire life that didn't come from your time. Every other dollar you've ever had came from an hour somewhere. An hour at a register, an hour on a call, an hour you will never get back. This $200 came from nothing. It came from owning a tiny slice of hundreds of businesses that kept running whether you noticed or not. You don't spend it. You click reinvest. The number of shares ticks up slightly. Nobody sees this. Nobody needs to.
You are 28. $25,000 invested? That's $1,000 a year in dividends. $1,000 covers your electricity for 12 months. Every time you walk into a dark room and flip the switch for the rest of the year, that's already paid for. You didn't pay for it. Your shares did. This is the year your friend Tyler starts talking about a stock paying 14%. He says it like he's handing you a winning ticket. 14%, bro! On 25 grand, that's $3,500 a year. That's basically free money. You look at the chart. The price has been falling for 2 years straight. The dividend yield looks enormous because the stock price collapsed underneath it. This is what's called a yield trap, and it is the single most common way people lose money chasing income.
A 14% yield isn't a gift. It's a warning sign wearing a gift's clothes. The market is telling you, loudly, that it doesn't believe this company can keep paying that dividend. You tell Tyler to be careful. He laughs and buys it anyway. 8 months later, the dividend gets cut in half, and the stock is down another 35%. He stops mentioning it. You keep your boring fund. You keep your $1,000 a year. The rule at this level is simple. The higher the yield looks, the harder you should look at why. You are 31. $50,000 invested. $2,000 a year in dividends. That's your internet and your streaming and your phone bill every month for the entire year, paid by money that never touched your paycheck. This is also the year you go to your cousin's engagement dinner. He leases a new SUV and announces it at the table like he just won something. Everyone claps. The payment is $740 a month. That's almost $9,000 a year. Gone, for a car that will be worth half of what he paid in 4 years. Your $50,000, meanwhile, quietly drops $2,000 into your account this year, and will do it again next year, and the year after, whether you remember it exists or not. You don't say any of this out loud. You order water, you eat your dinner,
You drive home in a car that's already paid off. For the first time in your life, you feel something most people never feel at a family dinner. You feel ahead. You are 34. $100,000 invested. 6 figures. The number your parents probably told you would change everything. It pays you $4,000 a year. $4,000 is a full year of groceries for one person. Every meal, every coffee, every late-night grocery run, already covered. This is the level where people start asking, what's the magic number to actually live off this? And the honest answer is, it depends entirely on 2 things: how much you spend every year and what yield you're realistically earning. Most of these calculations use a 4% yield as the baseline because it's sustainable, it grows over time, and it doesn't require you to gamble on companies that might not exist in 5 years. At $100,000, you're earning roughly the cost of feeding yourself. That's not freedom, but it's proof the machine works. And proof is what gets you to the next level. You are 37. $250,000 invested. $10,000 a year. That's your car payment, your insurance, and your gas for an entire year. Covered. Every mile you drive in 2026 is already paid for by money you didn't earn this week. You're sitting in traffic on a Tuesday. The guy next to you is in a brand new Tesla, screaming into his Bluetooth, veins in his neck. You're in a 5-year-old Camry that's been paid off for 2 years. His car owes him $900 a month for the next 4 years. Your car owes you nothing. Your mother once told you the richest people she knew drove the cheapest cars. You didn't get it at 16. You get it now. You are 40. $500,000 invested. $20,000 a year. This is the number financial planners have been using for 30 years. The 4% rule. The line where, in theory, you could quit tomorrow and not starve. You wouldn't travel. You wouldn't go out much. But $20,000 covers rent in a lot of the country, or a mortgage payment, or groceries, gas, and utilities combined. Your boss walks in at 4:47 on a Friday, sweating, asking you to stay late again. You used to say yes instantly. This time you pause for 3 seconds before answering. You still say yes, but the yes feels different now. It's a choice, not a reflex. $500,000 doesn't make you rich, but it gives you a word almost nobody at your income level gets to use honestly. The word is no. And no, it turns out, is the most expensive word in the English language, and also the cheapest thing $500,000 can buy you. You are 43. $750,000 invested. $30,000 a year. This is the level where the math starts covering an actual modest life. Not just bills, an actual life. Rent or a mortgage, food, a car, insurance. A little left over for the things that make a week feel like a week instead of a countdown. This is also the year you start hearing a number repeated in the news. Surveys come out every year asking Americans how much they think they need to retire comfortably. And the number keeps climbing, past 1 million, sometimes well past it. You read these headlines differently now, not as someone hoping to hit that number someday, as someone who can see it from here. You are 46. $1 million invested. $1 million. You don't feel different. Your apartment looks the same, your car looks the same, but the number pays you $40,000 a year. A full salary replaced forever without selling a single share. That night, you open a tax calculator out of curiosity. You type in $40,000 of qualified dividends, single filer. You hit enter. The number that comes back is 0. Under roughly $48,000 to $50,000 in qualified dividend income for a single filer, the federal tax bill on that income is nothing. Your friends with salaries lose almost a third of every paycheck before it even lands in their account. You keep all of yours. You sit with that for a minute. Not celebrating, just sitting. 15 years ago, you bought 1 share of an ETF because a coworker mentioned it at lunch. That 1 share turned into this. The math did exactly what the math does when you leave it alone long enough. You are 49. $1.5 million invested. $60,000 a year. This is close to what the average American retiree actually spends in a year, and you're generating it without touching the principal. The principal keeps growing. The dividend keeps paying. You read a headline that morning, one of those surveys again, saying Americans believe they need somewhere around $1.4 to $1.5 million to retire comfortably. You already have it. You sit by the window with your coffee and watch people drive to jobs they're already tired of before 8 a.m. You used to be one of them. You are 52. $2 million invested. $80,000 a year. This is the level where the conversation shifts from can I survive to what does my life actually look like? $80,000 a year covers a real life in most of the country. A paid-off home, travel that isn't once a decade, the ability to help your kids without wrecking your own plan. And still, you're not selling anything. The shares stay. The dividend arrives. Quarter after quarter, like a tide that never stops coming in. You are 56. $2.5 million invested. $100,000 a year. 6 figures. Replaced every single year from money that was never traded for an hour of your life. At this level, the question stops being how do I get more income and becomes what do I want my time to be worth now that money no longer requires it. So here is the real answer to the question this video is built around. How much do you need invested to live off dividends? At a 4% yield, the math is simple. Take your annual expenses and multiply by 25. Need $20,000 a year? You need roughly $500,000. Need $40,000 a year? Roughly $1 million. Need $80,000 a year? Roughly $2 million. The number isn't fixed. It's your number, built from your life, your rent, your habits, your version of enough. And the dangerous shortcut, the one that wrecks more portfolios than almost anything else, is chasing a higher yield to get there faster. An 8% or 12% yield sounds like it cuts your number in half. Sometimes it does. More often, it's a sign the underlying business is bleeding. The price has collapsed, and the dividend is one bad quarter away from being cut. The patient 4%, reinvested for years, almost always beats the flashy double-digit yield that quietly falls apart. Your phone buzzes. The deposit hits, like it does every quarter, like it has for years now. You don't check the amount right away. You already know roughly what it is. You make your coffee, you sit by the window. Outside, people are getting in their cars, checking the time, already a little late. You are not in a hurry. You haven't been in a hurry for a long time. That's the number. Not a headline, not a guess. Just expenses times 25. Built one quiet decision at a time until the morning comes when the money works and you don't have to.